I have a little notification sound alert that I set to my Stripe that goes every time I get a sale, and the whole house goes, yay! How many people want their inbox to look like that? Who wants their inbox to look like that? Yes, please. First thing I want to tell you is in this presentation, we're going to be talking about money. This is not a get rich quick scheme, all right? This is absolutely possible. I'm showing you this is proof. This is a possibility, and it certainly is completely and utterly related to the amount of marketing you put in, by the way, and I do have a calculation for you to use at the end of this presentation for you to work out how many people exactly you need to be getting in front of to hit your revenue goals from your courses, your coaching programs, your memberships, or indeed anything that you're really selling as a way that you've packaged up your intellectual property and your knowledge. So you need to basically understand, however, because I do not want to be one of these goo-poos that's going to promise you overnight success. This, like any business, is hard work. And it's more hard work in terms of the marketing after you've made your course than it is in making the course itself, okay? Let's just go into this with realistic talk here. You are gonna have to market anything that you sell if you want it to sell. So let's just get that bit out of the way with the understanding that this is all real and this can happen for you. So step number one of starting to create courses, coaching programs, or memberships is to first of all plan out what this business model is going to look like. One of the first things I do when I work with people, when they come and have one-on-ones with me, is we first sit down and we look at what kind of courses or programs or ways of packaging your knowledge is going to be best for you in your business. Some people come to me and they're absolutely adamant they want to create a self-study online course. When we've actually looked at what their business is, what they do, and the other things that they sell, very quickly identify that actually for you, it's probably going to be a membership because of all of the other things that you're selling. It's really important to understand that creating a course and just doing it in isolation from all the rest of your business is potentially setting you up to fail. What you have to do to make this succeed and to make all of your other business grow too is to integrate it into everything else that you have on offer. So as part of this first step then of planning your business model, I'm going to go into this. Probably the largest chunk of today's training is actually going to be on planning out the structure and the business model rather than actually how to create the course, because this bit is really the most important, is the difference between this completely failing and this potentially multiplying your revenue. So let's go into this in a tad more detail. First of all, whenever we look at a business, we have to understand that we're looking not just at the products we sell, we're looking at every single part of the whole ecosystem, whereby at the top, the biggest part of our ecosystem isn't the products that we sell, it's the marketing that we're doing. It's the ways that people are finding us and discovering us, and how we are positioning ourselves as the expert in that thing that we're planning to go out there and teach about, be a speaker about, write books about, okay? So what I have on the screen here, I know you can't read the details. It's purely here just to paint a picture of the concept. And in fact, just to not distract you from that, I'm going to pull myself out into a pin here, and I'm going to pin myself onto the screen for 1 second so that I can bring you in. Teaching tip: when you're about to teach something important, make sure you remove screen share and put your face on the screen. It brings people's attention back to you for the thing you're about to say that's very important. So in planning out your business model, we need to understand that right at the top of our business, this is where the top of our funnel is in our business. We have all the ways that we can get found. And one of the biggest ways that you need to be spending your marketing time specifically as an expert, an educator, a coach, a consultant, or an authority leader in a particular topic, which all of you guys are, you need to make sure that the type of content you're mostly creating is educational how-to content. i.e., you're putting stuff out there that is actually answering the questions that people have in your field, and you're, in doing that, demonstrating that you actually are the expert you say you are. When you become the most helpful person in the room in your topic, you automatically win the business. When you set your goal of marketing to simply share your passion, to use your social media outlets and your content as your own personally created stage to share what you love You see it as a stage of self-expression to help and serve and be the most helpful person in your industry from. The second, marketing starts to become fun. The second, marketing begins to work for you long time. It's the second that you actually begin doing what's called attraction marketing. And this type of how-to content is basically answering all of the questions that your audience have, which actually later on goes to fill in what your courses are actually teaching to at a deeper level.